homestand. The first 4 games begin tonight against the Colorado Rockies. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. Gary Matthews will be along in just a little bit. All right, I'm sure everybody in the Delaware Valley has heard by now the news that Milt Thompson has been relieved of his duties as the hitting coach for the Phillies. And old friend Greg Gross will assume the hitting coach duties. He was already out there today working with the players. Wheels, you never want to see friends go away. Milt Thompson is obviously a friend of everyone. Charlie Manuel said earlier today that this was his decision.
It was his decision. Those two guys are great friends, too. Milt Thompson, Greg Gross. The whole thing is one of those things where friends are involved. And Charlie wanted to make that very, very clear that it was his decision. No matter what other people think about it or say about it, he decided to do that. And there were a variety of reasons, and he gave them. He talked about he thought maybe they needed a change down there to hear a different voice and all those kind of things. The bottom line is players get managers and coaches fired when they don't perform. And in this case, there has not been a lot of performance going on around here as far as the offense goes, and it cost Milt Thompson, a good man and a good teacher, his job. And Greg Gross comes in here, and he'll try to pick up the pieces a little bit and try and do the same thing Milt was doing to try and get these guys to perform a little bit better. But, yeah, it's tough because Milt's our friend. He's a friend of a lot of people around here. We're really going to miss him, and we wish Greg nothing but the best because Greg Gross is a terrific baseball man.
Yeah, Gigi has already talked to Milt Thompson, and he said the next couple of days are going to be kind of weird as he makes the readjustment to the big leagues. All right, he'll have to make the readjustment with the Rockies over in the other dugout, and we have found out in recent years the Rockies are a second-half team, much like the Phillies.
They're a team that a lot of people still think will win the Western Division in the National League because they are such a second-half team. Look at the way these guys have started out in 07, 09, and then again this year. Now, they're on a little bit of a funk right now because they're on a tough road trip, and they have not gotten off to a good start, and the Phillies hope to keep them in it. But they are a team that has rallied. They fired their manager one year, Clint Hurdle, and then really took off. Jim Tracy has been here for a while and kept them playing very good baseball. They have good starting pitching. Their bullpen is very, very good. They have some power in their lineup. They run pretty well, and they know how to play the game in that big ballpark they have out there in Denver, Colorado. So they are a force to be reckoned with, and I think what they want more than anything is to get through this road trip and get home and do what they do best, and that's play at home.
Yeah, this is part of an 11-game road trip for the Rockies, and they've done it without Todd Helton, their first baseman, and without Troy Tulowitzki, their shortstop. Good pitching, as Will said. Aaron Cook on the mound for the Rockies. Great pitching for the Phils. Roy Halladay makes the start for the Phillies. He's been outstanding here at home, and the home crowd is hoping for the same. And he'll make 2 starts on this homestand. He's been really good here at Citizens Bank Park. Now, the record's not great because there's been a lack of run support in some of the games. His ERA, though, fantastic, 1.87. Look at the hits per innings pitched and the strikeouts, 69 strikeouts in 86 2/3. Let's take a look at the Rockies lineup that he'll face tonight. It's brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off in center field, Dexter Fowler. Jonathan Herrera, the shortstop, bats second. Carlos Gonzalez is in right field hitting third, followed by Jason Giambi, the first baseman. Melvin Moore, the second baseman, bats fifth. Seth Smith is in left field hitting sixth. And the bottom third of Ian Stewart, Miguel Olivo, and Aaron Cook will face Roy Halladay, who's making his 21st start of the year. And Wheels, he's coming off a rough one, and he said that he thinks he has figured out what went wrong against the Cubs.
Yeah, he struggled a little bit in that game on Sunday, no doubt about it. Then straightened it out, and then gave up that home run to Soriano, kind of finished him. There's our Southwest Airlines scouting report on Roy Halladay, his third career start. He did start a game in Denver this year on just a freezing cold afternoon, and he had the lead in that one, gave it up, and then the Phillies eventually lost that in extra innings, and he is a native of Denver.
Well, Dexter Fowler leads things off. It's a new look for Fowler, who's been battling a sore wrist. The new look is not only the pant legs being put up to his knees, but his hands are so much lower than they had been the last couple of times we saw him.
Saw that right away. We just went through a weekend series series with the Cardinals, talking about a couple of their guys that do that, and there have been some great players that. Talking to Ruley Carpenter today about that. There's Don Baylor. Ruley Carpenter, former Phillies owner who loves baseball, and talking about low hands and how Ted Williams did it. But it's a little different when these guys try it because there's a long way to go before you get it up into the hitting area.
Yeah, Fowler's now 1 for his last 29. There's the first strikeout for Roy Halladay, and that was a good pitch.
Anybody say why he's doing that?
It's just been struggling.
There's that was a changeup, it looked like. And Roy Halladay strikes him out with it. There's another. Yeah, that's a changeup. Just struggling and trying that, huh?
Just struggling and trying anything he can to get back on track. Well, here's rookie Johnny Herrera, who has had a good start in his Rockies career. He takes a fastball upstairs. It's 1-0. Overall, he's hitting .309 with a home run and 14 RBIs. He is essentially filling in for Troy Tulowitzki. But most of the time, he has been filling in at second base, and Barnes has been at short. But tonight, he's playing shortstop, and he's retired by Ryan Howard, who flips underhand to Halladay covering 2 away.
And he has 42 hits since he started playing on the 18th of June, but 37 under singles.
During the 2010 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. So 2 away, and here's Carlos Gonzalez. Gonzalez is 9th in the league in hitting at .305. with 17 home runs and 61 runs batted in. 3 for 5 in the series against the Phillies earlier this year, and 6 for 16 in his career against the Phillies. That doesn't include a fantastic postseason last year.
Oh yeah, this guy was unbelievable. He had .588 in postseason last year against the Phillies. They just couldn't get him out, and he hit it all over the place. He's a good player.
1-0 pitch to him. Breaking ball, swung on, missed. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Cargo, they call it. And he can do it all. A guy can run. He's got some power. He sprays the ball to the alleys. Just a really good-looking major league player.
Rockies got him in a deal in which they sent Matt Halladay to the Oakland A's. So pretty good player in return. They also got their closer, Houston Street, in return in that deal. So
yeah, for a guy they weren't going to be able to sign, and Matt Halladay.
And Jim Tracy, he is the recipient of this kind of talent after taking over for Clint Hurdle. There's Jason Giambi on deck. Back off the hands toward the middle. Diving play by Jimmy Rollins. Has to hurry, and the throw won't be there in time. And Gonzalez is aboard with a 2-out single.
You mentioned how he can really run, too. He's got 13 stolen bases and 18 attempts. Jimmy was unbelievable in that series in St. Louis, how good he was making plays even though he's not swinging the bat very well. And here he goes there. He dives, pops up, does everything he can. If that were just a regular guy going down the line, he's got him. But that's one of the faster players out of the left-handed batter's box is Carlos Gonzalez.
And Jimmy a little upset with himself that he couldn't make that play in time.
And what else he could have done.
There's Jason Giambi. Giambi isn't the everyday first baseman with Todd Helton on the disabled list, but he has played a lot lately. Jim Tracy says that he doesn't want to play Giambi too often because he's worried that the same stuff that happened last year with the A's will happen and he'll wear it down. With the A's last year, Giambi was playing every day at first base and wound up hitting 179 by the middle of August and was released. But he's playing tonight because he's got really good numbers against Halladay for his career. And he's down to the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And these guys like to hit. They're a really good hitting team. They play in the hitter's ballpark. But they don't have Helton and they don't have Tulowitzki. Now, Helton isn't the same guy as he used to be either, just like this guy isn't. Well, he was some player at one time in the American League.
5-time All-Star, the MVP of the American League in 2000. 1-2 the count to Giambi.
One of those nights you want to keep your pitch count down if possible, because it's brutal here tonight. Everybody in the Delaware Valley knows.
The foul ball by Giambi, and it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Halladay in his last start allowed 5 earned runs in 6 innings. He also allowed 2 home runs. And he said those home runs were the backbreaker in that outing. He said he can't do it. Phillies wound up losing that game 11-6. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Up until that game, he had an 18-inning scoreless streak, which was stopped by the Cubs.
Giambi, as Tom mentioned, has good numbers against him, but he hasn't seen that changeup that he has now. And he just tried to get him to chase it there, and he didn't swing at it.
Tried to get him again with it, and it's 3-2.
Yeah, you know, he's had such good luck against him as Giambi against Halladay. It's almost like Roy saying, well, you haven't seen this, and I'm going to try and get you. But both of those kind of dove down and away and weren't in the strike zone that long, if at all.
So Gonzalez will be off and running on this pitch. Howard will play behind him, give himself a little bit more of an advantage with the lefty up. There he goes, and the pitch is fouled away up toward the Hall of Fame club. So Gonzalez will go back to first. Outside, ball 4. And there are runners on first and second here in the first. Halladay did not walk anybody in his last outing, but Marvin Hudson thought that one was a little too far off the plate. Marvin Hudson is behind home plate. The crew chief, Darrell Cousins, is over at first. At second base is DJ Rayburn, and around at third is Jim Wolf.
They'll all get a chance to have home plate in this series, a 4-game wraparound.
Here's Melvin Mora, another veteran for the Rockies. Mora, just like Giambi, has 70 at-bats against Halladay. In fact, he's 22 for 72 against Roy Halladay.
They played all those games in the American League. Was with Baltimore a lot, playing in the same division with Toronto.
On the outside corner, a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
See Halladay out there wiping the perspiration off constantly. Be one of those tough nights to pitch. He ran that back pretty well.
And he works ahead of Mora just as he's done against the last couple of hitters. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, nip Carlos Ruiz a little bit, I think. So Marvin Hudson's going to go out there and kind of run the ball out to Halladay, wipe off the plate, give him a little time. See what happened here. Yeah. Yep, right off the shin guard.
1 ball, 2 strikes, the count to Mora. And he handcuffed him, and he got a piece of it somehow.
How did he hit that? I think it went in and out of Ruiz's glove, too. You can see the way Carlos reacted, like, oh, I wish I could have caught that. We'd be on our way to the dugout.
He was probably thinking the same thing you were thinking. How did he hit it?
Look at this. That's where he hit that thing.
Was it back toward his back knee?
Really? That's a swing like you see in a golf replay, and that baby's going right. No chance it's going anywhere else.
Toward third base, backing up on his Polanco. He'll go the short way to second to retire Giambi. And the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left. Handful of pitches for Roy Halladay here in the first. We go to the bottom of the first in a scoreless game. Followed by Ryan Howard, the first baseman. Jason Worth is in center field tonight, batting 5th. Ross Gload gets the start in right field. Carlos Ruiz hits 7th, followed by Wilson Valdez, the second baseman, batting 8th. And batting 9th and pitching, of course, is Roy Halladay. And they will face veteran right-hander Aaron Cook, who is making his 19th start of the year. A record of 4-5, and he is very familiar with the Phils.
Yeah, he is. Phillies have seen him a lot over the years. He's a sinker ball pitcher. That's what he's going to do. The way you beat him is try and make him bring the ball up.
Well, Jimmy Rollins leads it off for the Phillies, and he swings at the first pitch.
Our Southwest Airlines scouting report on him. There you go. Sinker. That's a velocity. He has those other pitches, but you want to make him elevate the ball as much as possible, because if you don't, you just eat ground balls all night, and easy ground balls.
He is coming off a win against the Cincinnati Reds in his last start, in which he went 7 innings, allowed 6 hits and no runs.
His numbers are a lot better at Coors Field than they are on the road, but he's pitched pretty well in his last 2 road starts.
5.83 ERA on the road compared to 3.25 at home. Jimmy takes a pitch inside. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. See Jimmy's numbers, good numbers against Aaron Cook. In fact, he's not alone. Phillies lineup as a whole, up until the bottom, of good numbers against Cook. And a foul tip into the glove of Olivo, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Ross Gload getting a start tonight because his numbers are so good. Shane Victorino's 1 for 16 off him.
Shane said there's not much he can do against Aaron Cook. He said he's tried everything and he just can't get a hit against him.
We got one.
Yeah. There's a pop-up, shallow center field. Herrera, the shortstop, going out. He misjudged it, but he's still there, and he bumps right into Fowler. And he makes the catch for the first out.
It's really the center fielder's ball. For some reason, I think Fowler was kind of deep. That ball was hit so high, the center fielder can come and get that one easily. When you see a shortstop have to go that far. Here it is. I mean, they're really going out a long way for that thing. And the center fielder's coming in. Fowler, much easier play for him. I don't know whether you could tell whether he's trying to call him off or not.
So 1 away. Herrera goes back to his position. Same with Fowler in center. And here's Placido Polanco. Polanco takes the first sinker down low. 1 ball and no strikes. Polanco spent the last couple days in the leadoff spot. hit the home run that finally gave the Phillies the lead in yesterday's game. The Phillies got their first victory against the Cardinals on that road trip and only their second victory overall.
Yeah, that looked pretty neat when that ball was headed for the seats yesterday. One hit for the Cardinals in 11 innings.
Opposite way. And a ground ball right at Melvin Moore, and there are 2 outs.
Here it is. The home run off Kyle McClellan. He threw a high sinker there. You can see that ball trying to get down out of that zone, and it didn't. It stayed about belt high, and Polanco hit it out of the ballpark. They had another run later in that inning. Had a chance for more and couldn't do it, but got out of there with that 2-0 win. That made the flight home a little nicer last night.
Well, that'll bring Raul Ibanez to the plate. Back in the 3 hole once again. Ibanez hitting .326 in the 3 spot. Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Ann Richards of North Wildwood, New Jersey. If the Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, then Ann will win $100. At the knees, 1 ball and 1 strike. Aaron Cook won 16 games with the Rockies back in 2008 and was a member of the National League All-Star team. That's the most wins he has picked up in a season. And there's Greg Gross, the new old hitting coach for the Phillies. Took over for Milt Thompson, who was relieved of duties yesterday. Once the team arrived back in Philadelphia, Greg was, of course, down at Lehigh Valley the last couple of years. He said it's going to be weird for the next couple of days. Charlie Manuel has known Greg as an instructor in spring training and a good baseball man over the years.
And so was Milt. Charlie said that's the hardest baseball decision he's ever had to make. It really was. He said it was so difficult we just can't imagine. And he did it last night. As you said, he and Milt talked last night when they got back. And he was still struggling with it today. You could tell he was emotional about it because he knew he had made the decision.
Line drive, base hit for Ibanez into center field. He had a drastic overshift on against Raul, and he hit it right over the top of it.
That's the first team we've seen play that on Ibanez this year, I think. You know, they played on Chase Utley. They obviously played on Ryan Howard, but they had 3 infielders on the right side of second base for Ibanez. A lot of times the shortstop will play up towards the middle. See where they are? They're all over in here. And normally the shortstop's over in that area. And, you know, they had the shortstop in the right spot if that had been a ground ball, but it was a screaming liner over his head.
So with 2 outs, a runner at first, Ryan Howard, who is 8 for 20 in his career against Aaron Cook, and he is putting up some pretty impressive numbers right now. A .303 batting average with 22 homers and a league-leading 75 runs batted in. And he hits one down the left field line. That's got some pretty good distance. On the run is Seth Smith over to the corner. He leaps and he makes the catch. And the side is retired. Ryan Howard just a few feet away from giving the Phillies the lead. Seth Smith was a few feet away from just crashing into the outfield wall. This ends the first. Phillies.com. Browse the largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel. Stop by Phillies.com. Accept no substitutes. Top of the second, Seth Smith swinging at the first pitch, and he fouls it off. And it's no balls and 1 strike. Smith playing left field tonight. He's bounced around left field, a little right field, and he's got some good numbers for the Rockies in limited at-bats.
Made a heck of a run for that ball because they're playing Ryan Howard way over left center field.
Hits that one hard, knocked down by Howard. Roy Halladay is there to cover. 1 away.
And he almost overran it. When he looked up, he'd run to a spot there at the end. When he looked up, he had almost run past it, and then he reached back and made a nice play.
Ryan had plenty of time on that ground ball. Let's take a look at that play in the corner again.
Watch how he almost overruns it. See, he took one last look, and now, ooh, wait a minute, that's coming back.
I was surprised it stayed fair. I really thought it was going to slice out of play.
Yeah.
So 1 away. Here's Ian Stewart. Stewart was 2 for 9 the last time these two teams faced each other, but he's been pretty hot. 9 RBIs in his last 9 games. Rockies as a team were pretty hot going into the All-Star break, but this is an 11-game road trip. They were 6-1 prior to the All-Star break in their last 7 games, but they're just 2-5 on this road trip. Jim Tracy said they're just trying to get through these next 4 games and head on home.
And they have 2 4-game series on this road trip. They just finished one in Florida. They lost 3 out of 4. There are the Rockies through the 10th, and then since 2-6, and only hitting .205. But you know, they're a little bit different team when they're away. Not as drastic as they used to be, though. I mean, before, in the old humidor days or pre-humidor days, they just were unbelievable at home. Then they go on the road and say, "Who are these guys?" Now they balance it out a little bit better. Now, you know, they're not just such a back leg home run hitting team the way they used to be at home.
Well, they have a really good record at home. They're 31-16 this year. On the road, they're 20-28. And here's the comparison of what they've done at home compared to what they've done on the road. That's amazing, the difference in batting average.
That's a fun place to hit. At Coors Field, you know, the outfielders, you can't even see them.
ERA is very similar.
Well, they pitch better now. You know, that's one of the reasons why they got better in the last few years. You know, their number 1 guy isn't too bad. And they Jimenez, and they just got Francis back. Cook is a very good major league pitcher, so that, you know, their rotation's decent.
Jimenez will pitch tomorrow. Francis will pitch on Sunday for the Rockies. And a pop-up down the left field line. Raul Ibanez, a similar play that ended yesterday's game against the Cardinals. And there are 2 outs. Well, a great presentation before the ball game tonight. It was the State Farm Good Neighbor Award, and it went to a handful of young student athletes from the George School in Bucks County. Now, the gentleman in the green golf shirt right there is a gentleman by the name of John Gleason. Now, John has been at the George School for a long time. He is the head baseball coach. I think he's also the athletic director. From the days when I used to work at the Trenton Times, I used to remember covering John's teams. Well, John was hit with a line drive during batting practice, during baseball batting practice this year, and he was knocked unconscious. And while he was knocked unconscious, he had a heart attack. And the students who you saw there acted very quickly, performed CPR, saved his life. And of course, you see John walking around there, and he is unbelievably grateful. So great job by those students. And they reacted unbelievably quick to call 911 and then performed CPR until the EMTs arrived on the scene. And their names: Rachel Simonis, Tyler Campolone, Juana Bivens, and Jake Skolnick. Those are the student athletes from the George School. So beautiful presentation before the ball game. It was great to see John out there.
What a nice story with a happy ending.
Swing and a miss. So Lebo's down on strikes. Ruiz will flip to first to finish off the strikeout, and the side is retired. 1, 2, 3 go the Rockies. Second strikeout for Roy Halladay. We go to the bottom of the second here at Citizens Bank Park. Jason Worth is due to lead it off. Trade deadline approaches on CSNPhilly.com. Experience counts. Phillies insider Jim Salisbury only on CSNPhilly.com.
Especially this time of the year, Jimmy really comes into play with all the stories going on, the rumors.
He one of his stories today, and also yesterday, had to do with the potential trade pickups for a handful of teams that could be out there as we get closer to the July 31st trade deadline.
Well, he has a lot of sources.
Jason Worth leads it off. Jason's playing center field tonight. Jason picked up his 30th double of the year yesterday. Had to feel good. Drove in a run. Drove in that second run for the Phillies. Overall, he's hitting .279 with 13 home runs and 51 runs batted in. Jason was 7 for 29 on the road trip. And he's down at the count. No balls at 2 strikes.
Cook will do that. He can run that thing back for a right-handed hitter like that sinker, and he'll throw it at the left-handed hitter and freeze him. Put it on the inside corner.
Broke his bat. The bat goes right past Cook. That may give Jason Worth a chance to get a base hit. It does. Now, he may have beaten it out anyway, but Cook had to wait for the bat to go by him before he went after the ball.
He couldn't break right away, that's for sure. You know, his first instinct is, I ought to go get that ball, but I'm not going to move until this barrel gets past me. And so he got a really late start after it. Watch what happens here as Tom described now. Bat gets shattered. Now, he's thinking about going to get the ball, but he said, no, I got to wait a minute. And everybody kind of froze in the infield. Nobody was going to be able to get there anyway. Here's another look at it. Now, watch the bat go by, but watch him start, stop. Now I'm going to go try. And he's looking back there to see if any of his infielders are on their way in, and nobody's close.
Well, that would have been a tough play anyway because Jason runs so well.
Right. That's probably going to be a hit no matter what.
Well, here's Ross Gload, who has really good numbers against Aaron Cook, and that's one of the reasons why he's in the lineup. 8th start of the year, 5th start in right field.
Yeah, Charlie said he really wanted to get his bat in there tonight because of those numbers against Cook, and see if maybe they could generate a little more offense that way, at least for one game.
Gload overall hitting .247 as you saw, with 3 pinch hit home runs and 12 RBIs. Now there's a little bit of a hesitation in Aaron Cook's delivery to the plate from the stretch. It's kind of the same hesitation that he now has from the windup. Olivo's a pretty good catch and throw guy behind the plate. He's thrown out 19 of 48 trying to steal, but get a good jump, you probably can steal a base against Aaron Cook. And a quick toss over, and Jason Worth is back diving. Cook has really good times to the plate, but he hasn't shown the slide step that they have in the reports, at least through the first 2 pitches to Ross Gload.
David Luke's with a watch over there, and he spends a lot of time studying video of pitchers, trying to figure he can find something before they go out there.
Back toward the middle, a base hit for Gload. Jason's around second. He's going to be at third. And the Phillies have runners on first and third with nobody out here in the second.
That's good base running. For the first to third inning, it's such a lost art in this business anymore. It can win games for you. And Jason Worth did a very good job of reading where Fowler was there. And you'll see Fowler is playing off in the left center a little bit, and he plays a really deep center field. So he knows when that ball's on the ground in the center field, he's got third base easy. And a good job by Ross Gload to put the ball in play and get himself a hit, and that's why he's playing tonight.
So runners on first and third, nobody out here in the second. The Phils trying to take the early lead. The Rockies play the infield back at double play depth. And Carlos hits it the opposite way, and Gload, ooh, he didn't get back. I thought maybe he got back. It's a double play.
Unbelievable. Even when they hit it hard, something weird happens. Yeah, there's nothing Gload can do about that. He is just frozen, and it looked like maybe he'd slid in under it, but probably not.
I thought his foot had gotten back before the tag, but the first base umpire, Darrell Cousins, was right there.
Yeah, here it is. Carlos just hits a rocket right at Giambi. Right, and you see the umpire Cousins saying he gets him on the upper body.
Yeah,
he was
did.
out.
Yep.
Yeah, good call.
And Ross was still trying to get back to the back end of the bag, too.
So just like that, one pitch, and he's almost out of this.
Here's Valdez. He tries to bunt at it with the third baseman Ian Stewart playing way back at third. And it's 0-1.
That's a pretty good play, actually. Because you said how far back that got Stewart up a little bit now. You know, if he bunts that down to third baseline, Worth just scores on it, and, you know, they get a run.
And now Stewart plays in.
Oh, yeah. Got his attention with that.
Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Ruiz doing what you want to see a guy do in that case. There you go with those loose shirts, so close to hitting him. You know, Carson's trying to hit the ball the other way so he doesn't turn it over into a double play, and he hit a hard line drive right at Giambi.
1 ball and 2 strikes the count to Valdez as he fouls that one back. No hits in his last 14 at bats. Wilson was 0 for 8 in the series against the Cardinals. He's got a runner at third with 2 men down here in the bottom of the second. That one is just foul. Boy, by a half a foot. And it remains 1-2.
Darryl Cousins being tested down there early. Here's a look at it. Does it go over any part of first base? No, it does not.
Last second, it spun just to the right.
Say that. I'm okay tonight. I'm hot. I had a close play in the ground ball early, and I had these two.
Might be a sign of things to come, though.
Well,
swing and a miss. And Valdez is down on strikes with a Phil Strand, a runner at third. Well, they hit the ball hard in the inning, but nothing to show for it. They strand Jason Worth over at third. We go to the third in a scoreless game. Year in 1977 who became Hall of Famers. 2 rookies of the year who became Hall of Famers. Hall of Fame weekend is this weekend. Whitey Herzog will be inducted along with Doug Harvey, great umpire, and the great Andre Dawson. It's overdue for Andre to be in the Hall of Fame. And joining us up here in the booth is Frank Hibbert, who is the mayor of Clearwater, one of our favorite places, of course, the spring training home of the Phillies. Frank threw out the first pitch tonight, was one of the folks who threw out the first pitch tonight. How's that arm feeling?
It's loose now.
Yeah. Well, it is warm up here.
If they need me to call me in, I'm ready.
You're getting a little better at that, aren't you?
Thanks, Chris.
Frank,
that memory will never die.
Frank took a lot of heat a few years ago, Tommy, in Clearwater for, I don't know,
a less than auspicious
30
pitch.
footer maybe. It happens. It just happens.
Listen, the elements play a big role in how that ball gets to the plate, Frank.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
A lot of pressure down there at Bright House Field.
Well, here is the first pitch. And that was a good one. Would have brushed back the right-handed batter, Aaron Cook, who just went down on 3 pitches. And there's one away. Well, Frank, each and every year, the great folks from Clearwater come up here to Philadelphia as part of a night at the ballpark. And how are things down in the Philly spring training home?
Well, the Threshers are playing great, and it's neat to see the new talent that you're going to have years from now. We've got a great band of kids down there, and the Threshers are an incredible addition to Clearwater.
The ballpark is so great, too, huh?
It really is. We had 3,400 out there last night.
That is awesome. Dexter Fowler is the batter, and he takes a pitch low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Now, obviously, the Gulf Coast has been in the news an awful lot for the last handful of months with all of the oil issues that are going on in the Gulf. Now, how does it affect Clearwater?
Well, that's the amazing thing. Nobody knows how big the shores of Florida are, and we have no oil on Clearwater Beach or even close. And so we're inviting everybody still to come down and enjoy our sugar white sand beaches.
Well, they look beautiful during spring training this year, and I'm sure that they still look as pristine right now as we speak up here.
We don't think we'll get any oil. Pensacola has gotten it, but they're 8 hours away from us. And we have a great boat race every October with super boats. And then we look forward to all of our Delaware Valley friends coming down in March.
Boy, it's been great, hasn't it, in the last few years, all the Phillies fans that come down there?
Well, we've broken all sorts of records, and after the game's done, you go down to the beach, and it's just a sea of red, you know?
0-2 the count to Johnny Herrera.
One thing we get all the time, Frank, is people come down there and they come up to us and they say, wow, you guys were right telling us to come down there. We want to do it again. I say, well, you'd be lucky enough like us to come down 39 years. You really have fun.
Well, it's hard to find a 64-year relationship, and that's what we have with the Phillies.
And the impact that it has on the community itself. And you just talked about 3,400 at the Threshers game last night, but just the impact for even that, those 6 weeks the players are down there and the 4 weeks the games are being played. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, the average attendance since 2004. I mean, look at those numbers, including 9,452 per game this year. I mean, it's amazing.
It really is. And a lot of the folks from Philadelphia come down for the entire month. And they really have become extended family.
Swing and a miss, and Herrera's down on strikes. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Roy Halladay after a strike for Frank Hibbert on the first pitch tonight here at Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies and the Rockies scoreless. Phillies had a chance in the second. Some buzzards luck, though, on a ball hit very hard by Carlos Ruiz resulted in a double play. So now Roy Halladay leads it off against Aaron Cook. He takes a pitch for a strike. Cook has thrown just 28 pitches through the first couple of innings. As you see Halladay's numbers, 5 for 53 this season. And it's 0-2. One ball and 2 strikes the count. Rockies have used 8 different starting pitchers this year. Last time the Phillies saw the Rockies, they didn't have Jeff Francis, who was back in their rotation, as we mentioned. On the hands, that's going to be over the head of Giambi down the right field line. Halladay gliding around first. He's content to hold up right there. He was thinking about his first extra base hit of the season, but it's a leadoff single here in the third.
Got to shake his hands right now. They have to hurt. Giambi pats him on the back down at first base. Look at this. Ooh, ouch. Fight that thing off. A sinker coming right on his thumbs. Keeps it fair down the line now. Takes a good kick out there for Gonzalez, so he holds him to a single.
Now with nobody out and a runner at first, here's Jimmy Rollins. He popped out to shallow center his first time up. Jimmy said he's just not dancing the right way right now. Still trying to get his timing down. Feels like he's closer. He had a rough road trip.
And he's just not swinging them right now. You know, he's topping a lot of balls. He's turning them over. His timing's not good. And, you know, you start to hit some balls hard. Usually that's the first sign that you're going to get it.
Chopper off the plate. That's going to be a tough play. Cook and Mora and Jimmy. Oh, he's out at first base. Jimmy was legging it up the first base line, and he thought he had that beat.
Darryl Cousins got it right again. He's having some night down there. Boy, they just keep on coming. Bang, bang plays. See, Charlie was thinking about going out, but Davey Lopes doesn't react. Now let's take a look at it. See if we can tell. That is a heck of a play by Herrera. Because look what he does. Just shovels it over there. Can't tell from that angle. Here we go again. It's out. Or Mora, I mean. Herrera's playing short. He's having a good night.
He's had 3 close calls, and it looks like all 3 have been called correctly. So 1 out. Here's Polanco with a runner in scoring position. One thing, too, is we always think about Jimmy's calf, and he was hustling up that first base line.
Yeah, that was one of those, you know, hopefully he's past it and don't even think about it anymore, because he can't run any harder than that.
Polanco, his first time up, grounded out to second.
Well, Sam Perlaza knows it could take 2 more hits to score Halladay. Now, you really don't ever want to run a pitcher into contact if you can avoid it. So, you know, he'll be very careful here.
You have above average arms all around the outfield, including a former college football quarterback in left field. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Polanco. Seth Smith in left, Dexter Fowler in center, and Carlos Gonzalez in right. All with strong arms. And on the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Marlins have taken a 2-0 lead over the Braves. Dan Uggla, 2-run home run. And there have been reports out of Florida that the Marlins are looking to sign Uggla to a contract extension that will keep him with the club through the opening of their new ballpark.
Interesting, because they were trying to get rid of him during the offseason.
Over towards shortstop, and Halladay will have to go back to second. 2 outs.
The pitchers, you know, they don't run the bases very often. That's a good job.
Wheels, you hear the Christmas music in your ears?
I heard it.
Might be a surprise to some folks, but Christmas in July. This Sunday, 1:35, when the Phillies take on the Rockies. There are some limited seats still available. Bring your new unwrapped toys to the ballgame. Collection will be at all of the entrance gates. If you want more information on it, call 215-463-1000 or log on to Phillies.com. Now, the gifts will go to the Women's Against Abuse, Children's Crisis Treatment Center, the DuPont Hospital for Children, and the Police Athletic League. Great opportunity to do some good. Christmas in July.
In Florida, maybe.
Here's Raul Ibanez, who singled his first time up.
That's kind of fun talking about Clearwater. Always like talking about that town.
Well, and I wondered too about the oil crisis, which is going on in the Gulf, and how that was affecting some of the Gulf Coast cities.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, that part of Florida has not been affected, and hopefully will not be.
Breaking ball down low, 2-0. Now this is the second time through the lineup for the Phillies hitters this year. Aaron Cook has had his problems the second time through. In fact, the opposition is hitting a cool 384 the second time through the lineup, which means he's either getting his sinkers up or they're just reading him better. And Ibanez is ahead 3-0.
Takes a look down Sam Palazzo, see if he gets a green light.
Like Raul was taking all the way unless he zones something on the inside part of the plate, and it's 3-1. Aaron Cook, now 31 years old, a former second-round pick out of Hamilton High School in Ohio.
This guy had a severe aneurysm a few years ago, lung problem. Boy, he's lucky he's alive, let alone pitching.
Chopper to the right side. Moore gets to it on the glove side, sets himself in plenty of time, and the side is retired. Phillies strand one in scoring position. They've stranded one in each of the first 3 innings. We go to the 4th. It's 0-0. Delivers. Who but W.B. Mason? Top of the 4th. Roy Halladay will go back to work. Gary Matthews joins us up here in the booth. Phillies have managed 4 hits so far tonight offensively, and they have stranded a base runner in each of the first 3 innings. And in fact, they've stranded a couple in scoring position already. And there have been outings this year where Roy Halladay and even Cole Hamels, that was an indication yesterday, where they haven't gotten a whole lot of run support. There have even been outings for Jamie Moyer this year where he pitched so well and didn't get a whole lot of run support. And there's Jamie, who met with the media earlier today. It looks like his season is done, although we don't know for sure. Jamie is going to have some more tests done on that left elbow. And he was really impressive today, Sarge, talking to the media about his progress, his prognosis. Says he doesn't know what he's going to do yet. He's going to wait for the additional tests. He has a strained muscle in his forearm and a sprain to the ligament in his elbow. So he has 2 different things that have to be looked at.
Yeah, and that's probably from throwing, I don't know, that slider that he ended up picking up. But again, he will probably evaluate and see how long it would take him to rehab.
He was asked today by Bob Brookover of the Philadelphia Inquirer if he had thought at all about the fact that he may have played his final game in a Phillies uniform, and he said he'd be lying if he didn't say that it crept into his mind, but he hasn't spent a whole lot of time thinking about it, and he said he's going to wait for the doctors to let him know what is definitively wrong before he has any kinds of thoughts on, you know, what he'll do, where he'll go from here, and what kind of procedures he'll need to have done.
Yeah, well, it'll be a long way back no matter which way he chooses.
Carlos Gonzalez rolls over on one. Nice play to his left for Valdez. One away. And that'll bring Jason Giambi to the plate. You know, the thing about Jamie Sarge is he was talking about the last start when he hurt himself. He said, you know, I just didn't feel right. I didn't feel right from the word go. And he said, I don't know what it was. I said, well, you've been around for so many years, you probably knew something was up. He said, well, I just thought I could pitch through it because that's the way, you know, he's been built.
That's the way normally you would go out and do that, where you go out and if it's just a little bit maybe pain, you'll go through it. If you're hurt, that's a whole big different story. And I'm sure he thought he's always had mixing pain.
That's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said.
You can't play this game this long without having it. When you're a guy that plays every day and an everyday player, you're going to have those same nicks. No doubt about it.
3-0 the count to Jason Giambi, who walked his first time up.
Well, you keep in mind, too, the arm only has so many throws in a career. Let's face it. And he's got the most out of it for sure in Jamie Moyer.
I was going to say, he got somebody else's throws along with his.
You know, but he'll know. He's such a competitor. He's the type of guy that's not going to want to be embarrassed out there, and he has so much pride.
At the knees, 3-2 to Giambi. Melvin Moore waits on deck with one out here in the top of the fourth. And a foul tip right into the glove of Carlos Ruiz. Another strikeout for Halladay. That's his fifth. 2 outs. Oh, this is the injury where Jamie realized that something was up. This pitch to Alan Craig right there. Ooh. I told him, I said, I thought maybe you did something to your back or, you know, your oblique, your side. He said, yeah. I knew there was something going on. I just wanted to get through the inning. And he did, because Craig lined out to center, but he went right down the stairs after that. And Charlie has announced that Kyle Kendrick will start tomorrow and Jay Happ will start Sunday for the Phillies. And it's 1-1 to Melvin Moore.
Just a filthy sinker as it comes in. Usually that ball, if you hit it, you're going to hit it right off of your foot. See how hard he actually swung at the ball.
His teammates are laughing along with the crowd because the crowd started laughing when Moore fell to the ground.
Fowler hitting 225. I don't think he should think anything is funny right now for me.
Swing and a miss, another strikeout. 6 strikeouts for the first 4 innings for Roy Halladay. Boy, he's dealing right now. He's retired the last 10 batters, and he'll take us to the bottom of the 4th. Available all day and only at McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by Suzuki in the amazing Kizashi Sports Sedan. Oh, another sold-out crowd on hand tonight. Trying to cheer the Phils with everything they have on them and that they brought with them. This is game 1 of 4 between the Phillies and the Rockies. Tonight sold out, tomorrow sold out. Limited seats for Sunday and Monday. And first pitch swinging for Ryan Howard, 1 away. Well, we said before earlier tonight that the Phillies are beginning a stretch of games here at home against the National League West, and it continues when the Phillies get off a road trip when they take on the Dodgers on Tuesday, August 10th at 7:05. The first of 3 against Joe Torre's Dodgers. Manny Ramirez is back in the lineup. You can get your tickets by going to Phillies.com. Well, here's Jason Worth with 1 out. Jason reached on an infield single his first time up. And Sarge, the Phillies have 4 hits tonight, and their hitting has been a huge topic of conversation the last several weeks around the Delaware Valley, and an even bigger topic today because of the dismissal of Milt Thompson as their hitting coach when the team arrived back last night off the road trip. Chase Utley was saying before the ball game today how much he enjoyed working with Milt, and he said, let's face it, we didn't hit. We have to hit. And that's really the true issue. Not Milt Thompson, but the fact that the Phillies, just haven't been hit.
Yeah, well, that's a real good point there. Chase kind of telling it exactly the way that it is. But I learned long ago from Andy McPhail, who's the president of the Cubs there at the time, as the new hitting coach, Greg Gross, another one of my ex-teammates. But he said, quite simply, and he was telling the truth, that when things go wrong, first guy to go is the hitting coach. And I've been the hitting coach 3 different times, didn't fire 3 different times. Not because of the guys not hitting, which can also be very difficult. Fugosi coming over to Toronto, he told me I did a great job. Said he just wants his friends around. So that was a blessing because I got a chance to go and work up in the booth with Tom Cheek and Jerry Howard, both broadcasters at the time there with the Toronto Blue Jays.
3-1 the count to Jason. There's ball 4. He's aboard with a 1-out walk. And that happened in the middle of the season.
Right. And with Toronto, basically, yes, it did happen. They let me finish it out, however. But he had told me, and he did, Fugosi, that he was not going to need me the next year.
Well, Milt's quotes, and Milt's been quoted a lot the last day or so, and I'll tell you, he's handled it unbelievably. It's part of the business. I can't even be mad. If somebody else can get them going and they can get in the playoffs this year, that would be great. And Milt has also said that he still plans to be here at the ballpark for the alumni weekend in the month of August.
Well, he has nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, he's with a guy that was MVP, a couple of guys MVP. Look at the record that Chase Utley has had over the years under Milt. And again, it's plain and simple. The guys that don't hit when you're around them, the blame goes strictly on you.
Here's Ross Glode, who singled his first time up.
And I joke about it at times about, guys not being able to hit the fastball. That's nobody's fault but the player. And certainly for me, a lot of guys on this team have been late on the fastball.
So saw Shane Victorino, who has the night off because he's 1 for 16 against Aaron Cook. And Greg said today that he reached out to Milt. I mean, you see where the Phillies rank right now in a number of different categories. And the ironic thing is that it was Milt who took over for Gigi after Larry Bowa was let go at the end of the 2004 season. Greg was reassigned to the organization, and Greg's offenses under Larry Bowa were really good. In fact, in 2004, the Phillies were 7th in the league in hitting, 3rd in runs, and 2nd in home runs, and 2nd in on-base percentage. So he was let go after a fairly successful 2004.
Well, that's my point. You can sometimes be doing a good job and you're let go because that manager wants or feels more comfortable with his guys, and Milt is right. That is part of the job. One of the reasons why, I for sure don't ever want another hitting job and down on the field.
Another throw over, and Jason's back diving. And with that said, up until this year, the Phillies under Milt Thompson had unbelievable numbers. And you see Greg Gross as the hitting coach. 0-4, those numbers we just talked about. The on-base percentage was top 5 in 3 consecutive years. Jason goes, pitch is taken for a strike, and the throw nowhere near in time. And that's what we talked about it being able to steal a base against Aaron Cook if he doesn't use that slide step. And that is the 7th steal of the year for Jason.
I mean, it's almost the same as Davey Lopes. I mean, early on, as you see, Jason gets just a tremendous drop. No chance to throw him out as he gets down and already across the bat. But Davey had mentioned earlier, I don't know why the guys aren't running and so on. He's been telling them to run. He gives them the time, but it's up to the individual.
Outside, ball 4. Back-to-back walks issued by Cook. The Phillies have 2 aboard, and they've had their share of base runners so far against Aaron Cook. And it'll bring Carlos Ruiz to the plate. Carlos lined into a double play his first time up. And now with 1 away, let's see if the Phillies can pick up a run with another base runner in scoring position. Now, Sarge, talking to Greg today, you know, he said that it's not going to be a whole lot different, his approach, than what Milt's approach was. So what do you think he can change midway through the season, or a little bit past the midway point?
You know, that is really a great question, because a lot of the things.
Aaron Cook called for a balk. He stuttered somewhat as Jason Worth was dancing off second base. Excuse me, Sarge. Jim Tracy's yelling at the home plate umpire. Did you see something?
Well, you see Worth going back and forth on that.
Looked like he moved his feet somewhat. And he knew right away. Now they're going to walk Carlos Ruiz intentionally. That was part of the conversation Jim Tracy was having with the home plate umpire. It carried over to a free pass for Carlos Ruiz.
Yeah, that's almost a situation you're almost hoping that he didn't walk, just so that Carlos could actually hit. Line drive that he hit the first base. Globe was picked off. Nothing anyone can do about that. Ball was hit hard and just happened to be right at the field.
All right, finish your point, your thoughts about what could be different for the club at this point in the season.
Well, maybe a 2-out approach or 2-strike approach, which they haven't been doing very much. But, you know, there may be some players who are very happy, too, with Milt. And then a lot of times when they're not, a different guy saying the same thing, but the messages may be different, maybe they'll get a little bit better results. I mean, I'll tell my son, hey, do this, do that. But then when Dusty calls him, he'll end up doing it. Not so much when I would do that. You know, the same with your son and Thomas. I might mention something to do this. It might come better from me than it would from the dad. Or the coach in this particular instance who acts like a dad.
Wilson Valdez bounces one toward third. There's one. That's all they'll get. As Ian Stewart made a very comfortable throw to the plate to retire Jason Worth. And Roy Halladay is going to be the batter. So I guess what you're saying is a different voice sometimes will give the same message, but it's just a different voice.
Coming from a different way and how he explains it. And, you know, Gigi's a guy that Grant Gross, I should say, nicknamed Gigi. He doesn't joke around as much. Yes, some, but he doesn't, you know, he's not always on the player. And I know a lot of times, you know, Milt would needle a guy, but you know what? I did that same thing. I mean, sometimes I'd ask the guys if you wanted me to go to the kennel to get some German Shepherds to go up to the plate with you to keep you in there.
Halladay fouls the first pitch off, and it's 0-1.
Now, he took over for the hitting job in Milwaukee, and the guy that I took over for was Rod Carew. We're in the meeting, I told him, you definitely not getting an upgrade here. And matter of fact, I learned from Rod Carew, so you're bringing me in. And guess what? They continued to strike out, and they struck out even more.
High strike, and it's 0-2 to Halladay, who singled over the head of Giambi his first time up. He'll take that right here. Scoreless game. Phillies have the bases loaded with 2 men down.
And he's keeping that ball down. Holiday got a hit on a ball that was up and in as he fought it off to right field. First time up. Cook making an adjustment, throwing these balls down and throwing breaking balls.
Swing and a miss, and the Phillies have stranded the bases loaded here in the 4th. So the Phillies have stranded 6 through the first 4 innings. Aaron Cook has worked out of one jam after another. Still no score as we go to the 5th. So they have not been able to score a run as we go to the top of the 5th. Phillies, since the All-Star break, which is just a week ago, have averaged under 3 runs per game. And they've just scored 4 runs in their last now 4 games, counting this one. 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position tonight. Fortunately, though, Roy Halladay has been throwing strikes. And he begins the 5th against Seth Smith. Charlie Manuel talking to Greg Gross.
Yeah, and the one thing, too, Greg has been around the hitters, so he knows them pretty much. He was a good hitter in his day.
Real good hitter, yep.
Guy that hit the ball the other way.
Line drive caught by Ryan Howard. Oh, the smoke right at Ryan. And there's one out here in the 5th. Phillies this year have gotten some great contributions from Ross Gload off the bench as a pinch hitter. Other pinch hitters haven't done as well, but Greg, with 143 pinch hits, is 5th all time. Now, Greg Dobbs, a couple of years ago, set the record for pinch hits in a season. And he was right on the heels of Greg Gross for a long time. And there's a base hit by Ian Stewart up the middle. And Greg, since putting a Phillies uniform on, has done a very good job as a pitch hitter, much the same way that Greg Gross did.
Yeah, toughest job in baseball, to be able to come off the bench and deliver a hit. See how many times Greg did that, 143 times. You got to be a good hitter, and not only that, you got to have a good plan on exactly what you want to do when you come to the plate.
Well, with one out, Miguel Olivo, doing his best Ted Kluszewski impersonation, steps up for the Rockies. Ted Kluszewski used to play for the Reds. There used to be all those shots of him wearing the sleeveless red uniform, having those sleeves way up top toward the shoulder.
Yeah, he had big guns too then.
Yeah. Olivo forgot the rest of his T-shirt underneath his vest. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to him. Buckled him on that breaking ball, and it is in for strike 2. So it's 1-2 now to Olivo.
This guy works both sides of the plate. There's those short sleeves that you're talking about.
They got a piece of Carlos Ruiz, and it remains 1-2. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Yankees have jumped out to a 4-0 lead over the Royals. Robinson Cano, 3 RBIs.
Wow. He's having a great year.
Yankees lead the American League East. A swing and a miss by Olivo. 2 outs, 7 strikeouts for Halladay. And the pitcher spot is due up. Well, Tuesday, August 17th at 7:05. It's game 1 of 3 between the Phillies and the San Francisco Giants. Come on out and see the Phils take out one of the better pitching staffs in the National League. And also the return of Pat Burrell to Philadelphia. Get your tickets by going to Phillies.com. Cook bunts right in front of the plate. The ball hit the bat. Ruiz picks it up and throws Cook out for the final out. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. 4.5 in the books at the top of the lineup for their 3rd turn against Aaron Cook. Baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity Triple Play, your complete lineup for digital TV, high-speed internet, and home phone. Comparison between Cole yesterday and Roy Halladay tonight. 14 strikeouts in 13 innings between the two, and just 3 hits.
Well, we talk about it. Pitchers have been doing their job there. Again, just haven't been getting the run support like they've been accustomed to.
Well, let's see what the top of the order could do. 3rd time around. Phillies have stranded 6 so far. Jimmy Rollins 0 for 2. He's popped out. to short center. And he's grounded out to second. Stewart's way in on the grass at third, and Cook's first pitch is outside.
Well, as long as those Braves don't get to double digits, you know, they are in reach. And I still think that they're going to go into a little bit of a slump, even though they do have good starting pitching.
Well, the key, I think, Sarge, is the fact that they're on the road right now, because the Braves 34-13 on the road this season.
Wow.
And 22-26 on the road. Back toward the middle. Look out, Aaron Cook. A base hit for Jimmy. Robbed him to hit his last time up. No robbery here.
Yeah, he needs to just get back to swinging. I know a lot of times as a leadoff hitter, you want him to take pitches. He's not that type of a guy. He's a guy that is a slugger. He's a hitter. And he's going to have to just swing that bat to get out of it. And when he starts swinging like this, being aggressive, look out as the ball get up the middle. It's the kind of balls that you like. You don't want to hurt or hit anybody, but it just puts something in that pitcher's mound when you make him duck.
Phillies have stolen a base tonight against Aaron Cook. Jimmy leads off first with Polanco up there. And Polanco shows bunt, just taking a pitch, and it's 0-1. Davey's been working that stopwatch tonight. Phillies have started to climb up the ladder, not as fast as they would like in stolen bases. They have the best percentage in the National League, but still not the number of attempts or steals that they've had in past years.
Yeah, they got to get on base, though, to be able to do that.
That's a good point.
They haven't been able to get on base very much, especially the guys that you need to steal bases. Good hit.
Jimmy's going. That's a looper to center. Jimmy's going to get to third on that one. Placido Polanco just put the bat on the ball, and the Phillies have the first two batters aboard and on the corners.
Good read by J-Ro. Didn't even have to look, kept going as he was running. You could tell that it was a hit and run because it looked like when he was going, he kind of looked over just to see as he takes off. See how he takes a little peek? Now he knows where the ball is. Doesn't have to look. Good base running as he goes. Take another look. That's how you know that it's a hit and run when he looks at that hitter. If it's a straight steal, he's not going to look at the hitter, go directly right to the bag. Good base running.
All right, so first and third in a scoreless game. The Phillies had the same situation in the second. Now different hitters up. It's the number 3 batter, Raul Ibanez. And they couldn't score because Carlos Ruiz lined into a double play. And Ibanez is going to allow them to score here. That one's for the gap in left center field. Fowler leaps. He's not going to get it. Jimmy's going to score. Here comes Placido Polanco. He's going to score. Ibanez is at second. It's 2-0 Phils.
Take a look at this. Ibanez squaring up a fastball, middle. Fowler thought he had a bead on it as that ball sliced away from him. See J-Ro coming into your pitcher, and here comes Polanco. Nice hitting there by Ibanez.
2 hits tonight for Raul, 2 RBIs. He has 43 on the year, and here's Ryan Howard. 0 for 2 tonight. 1-0 the count. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. A sold-out crowd. It's a warm night. And the Phillies hoping their offense is starting to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's warm, too. The ball jumps, but you got to hit it. You got to square it up the way Ibanez did.
Seven for his last 11 with runners in scoring position. How about 114 hits for Ryan Howard? Second most in the National League behind Martin Prado.
Well, he's been a lot more patient this year, not getting all those strikeouts, and especially in a row.
Not a bad pitch to hit there, and he just missed it. It's 2-1.
Well, the longer he plays, the more he's going to learn how to hit, what pitches to be able to hit. Jimmy Rollins, and also Charlie talking about hitting again.
Jimmy said he was getting closer, and hopefully that last hit moves him even closer to where he wants to be. 3-1 to Ryan.
Yeah,
sinker low.
Yeah, that's a pitch normally, though, he would actually swing at. We've seen him do that quite a bit, and that just comes from being able to play a little bit more, knowing and seeing pitches.
Not bad for Ryan. That's to center field. Fowler was deep. It's going to drop in front of him. Ibanez a hold up at third. Nothing else Raul could do on that, because you expect when a ball is hit towards center like that, that it would be even hit harder than Ryan was able to get it. So he held up to make sure it wasn't caught. So runners on first and third.
Yeah, good point. Good base running. That ball hit off the end of the bat. Fowler almost plays sometimes with his back against the wall, plays a deep center field. You play deep like that, usually you're able to cut balls off in the gap, but not get balls that are hit little line drives like that in front of you.
Marvin Hudson out to break up this conversation. Bob Apodaca, the pitching coach, is out on the mound. The Rockies and the Phils have 3 more games coming up beginning tomorrow. Photo day, it's sold out already tomorrow. But Sunday and Monday, there are limited seats available for both of those games. How about Sunday being the Pico Chase Utley action figurine, fans 14 and under, and a Citizens Bank Business Person Special on Monday. Get your tickets by logging on to Phillies.com. We want to remind you that Sunday is our Christmas in July toy drive. Bring out some toys to each of the entrances here at the ballpark. Be given to some of the local charities. 2-0 Phillies. Nobody out. Runners on first and third for Jason Worth. Jason's been on base twice tonight. A single and a walk.
He's got to try and get something out of this right here. Meaning a deep fly ball or beating out a ball on the ground just to get this running.
Toward left center field. Hit that one hard. That's going to get the run home. Fowler makes the grab. Tagging from 30, Ibanez. An RBI on the sacrifice. Well, you could say line drive by Jason Worth. It's 3-0 Phillies.
Yeah, Tom, he hit that ball so hard it was knuckling out there to Fowler. Now again, when he doesn't back on his heels, he's a terrific hitter. You can see not striding very much, has long arms. See that ball hooking away. No chance at all to get anybody running in from third base and by their scores easily.
Bullpen action. Chacin, the right-hander, is up and loosening. And Ross Ford is the hitter. Tight 1-0. Load a single and a walk in this game. He's got Howard at first. 3 runs have scored for the Phillies. There goes Ryan. Pitch is taken outside. The throw to second. Not in time. The ball was loose. I still thought he stole it, but I think the second base umpire, DJ Rainbow, was about to call him out.
Yeah, he was. He was. He had that hand up until he saw the ball, but you're right. He got an excellent jump on the ball. As you can see, that running now becomes contagious. Check the jump out that he gets. Oliva actually making that up with that strong arm of his, and it was bang, bang.
He may have been out if Herrera had applied that tag, just as the second base umpire, DJ Rayburn, was about to call. First stolen base in September of last year for Ryan. He's in scoring position, 3-0 to Glode. And he takes the first strike. Charlie Manuel had a team meeting today. It began around 4 o'clock. It lasted longer than some of his other meetings that he's had this year. And, well, Maybe running was part of that conversation in the meeting.
Well, I'm sure it was, and also introducing Greg Gross, you know, to the staff.
In the air to right center field. That's well hit. Fowler's just going to be a spectator. Wow! Into the back of the Phillies bullpen. 2-run home run for Ross Globe. 5-0 Phils. Roy Halladay likes that. He's getting some run support. Ross Globe likes it because he's getting a chance to play.
Yeah, has great numbers against Cook. One of the reasons he is in the lineup as he picks on a sinker, smacks it right out of the ballpark. Here it is again, short and quick to the ball. As it travels, he's going to scatter those guys in the bullpen.
Oh, and Richards in North Wildwood, New Jersey. You've just won $100 courtesy of the McDonald's Home Run Jackpot. And from Ross Globe, you've also sent Aaron Cook to the showers. Yolis Chacin is the new pitcher for the Rockies. 5-0 Phillies. Still only one man out here at Citizens Bank Park. We'll be back after this. You can see that just from the strikeouts per innings pitched. 87 strikeouts. And he's on for Aaron Cook, whose line is complete. 5 runs, 9 hits, 4+ innings. I should say 4 1/3. 1-1 the count. Carlos. Ross Globe has been on base 3 times tonight. Tell you what, that was a sweet swing on that sinker that was up by Aaron Cook.
Yeah, Globe is the type of hitter, though. He can hit anybody's fastball, especially if it's down. We've seen him before. He's an accomplished type of pinch hitter. And Charlie doing a good job at getting him in and getting some extra at bat, so it makes it easier for him when he asked him to come off the bench to pinch hit.
3-1 the count to Ruiz. Fastball hit toward third. Ian Stewart had him played perfectly. Bobbled for a moment, but he still throws him out. Well, it all started with a clutch hit from Raul Ibanez. This one toward the gap in left center field, Sarge.
Yeah, he smoked that ball there. See Blanco coming in, and then this was just a bomb. 420 feet getting back in the bullpen there.
So a good night for Raul so far, and a good night for Ross Globe. It's 1-0, or excuse me, 0-1 to Valdez. The other thing too is remember the stolen base by Ryan Howard. fact that he was able to get in there when Johnny Herrera dropped the throw from Miguel Olivo. I mean, that would have been the second out. And instead of a 2-run home run, it would have been a solo home run for Ross Claude. Swing and a miss. 1-2 to Valdez.
Yeah, Valdez has been a little bit off balance, and again, he talked about trying to get back into the groove and hitting the balls hard. He's good as well when he's hitting that ball to right field.
He hit it to the right side, to the right side of home plate, and Olivo runs out of room. Outside, it's 2 balls and 2 strikes down to Valdez. 5-0 Phillies. Swing and a miss, and the inning is over. But it was a good inning for the Phillies. They sent 8 men to the plate. They scored 5 runs against Aaron Cook. His night is done early. Phillies offense's night just beginning. Powerful recently, so has been the swing of the Phillies' first baseman. His big weekend in Chicago has put him over 20 home runs for the 6th straight season, while his RBI total remains among the best in the National League. Number 6 is swinging into another gear, as he usually does this time of year, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. Well, the Fanatic is pulling out some new routines. The Centurions were on hand tonight. I didn't know that the Centurion guards would wear socks like that, Sarge, or Chuck Taylors.
Yeah, they're not matching either.
You mean the socks or each Centurion socks?
A couple of them are out of uniform.
Well, we start the 6th, and Roy Halladay has a 5-run lead to work with, and Dexter Fowler was running up but forgot the bat.
I don't know what that was. I mean, just haven't seen that before, but it's a new ball game these days.
Breaking ball outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. All right, let's talk a little baseball here, Sarge. Tell me about this stance that Dexter Fowler's putting together.
I knew you were going to ask about that. He's holding his hands down.
Am I that predictable that I was going to ask about that?
Well, I just felt you were. I was getting ready to comment on it if you weren't. But, you know, he's holding his hands down, and he was the batter we saw earlier. He had that bat up a little higher. And I think the reason that he is having that, he's starting to get some motion and getting into his hitting position.
tell you, you know better than I do, but it seems like it's an awful lot that he would have to do to get into that hitting position.
And especially to hit against a pitcher like Roy Halladay.
Look how low they are. That one's toward right center field. First chance for Jason Worth. One away. Well, you said before that you took over for a guy whose hands weren't as low as that, but they were in a different spot, and that's Rod Carew. But Rod Carew's hands were back, and he was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, very relaxed hitter, and wouldn't mind bunting with 2 strikes.
This will be the 75th pitch of the night for Halladay with good splits. 54 strikes to 21 balls. It's 0-1 to Johnny Herrera. Opposite way, that'll be a base hit. Herrera was late on it and got it by Polanco, who was in a little bit. That's only the 3rd hit for the Rockies tonight. And now Gonzalez, who reached on an infield single his first time up, and he grounded out to second his last time to the plate. Breaking ball down low, 1-0. Glenn Allen Hill. A little hop, skip, and a jump on that ball. And it evens up the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Now, Miguel Olivo has his shirt up high on his vest. Glenn Allen Hill is the kind of guy that can get away with having his t-shirt up a little higher than most guys. And he's got the long sleeves on, but that guy had some guns.
Oh boy. Big arms he would carry around.
Toward first base again. And just turns his shoulder on that one.
And could hit the ball a long way. One of those guys that hit that ball in Wrigley Field off one of those rooftops. And that's getting it back there.
Boston Red Sox had a guy who used to go out in minor league games in a sleeveless uniform, and he looked appropriate. A guy by the name of Pat Lennon. There's a swing and a miss right through the 5-hole of Ruiz. That enables Herrera to go up to second. But there are 2 outs. That'll be a wild pitch charged to Roy Halladay. 8 strikeouts for Halladay, and he has been really good tonight, Sarge.
Yeah, he is good there when he just throws that ball in and out. You see the little sink on that ball there. Another little slider or cutter. Always around the plate. Fastball. Another fastball. And see how that ball he keeps out of the middle of the plate really makes him effective.
Now Giambi with a runner at second. A wild pitch, by the way, the 5th of the season for Halladay. And you see his line tonight. 8 strikeouts over 5 2/3.
He's been pretty stellar all year. Record won't indicate in terms of wins and the losses, but a guy like that, you look at his ERA.
His ERA is down to 4th best in the National League at 2.31. He's 7 percentage points ahead of tomorrow's starter, Ubaldo Jimenez. Runner at second with 2 outs. And the 2-0 to Giambi. That's a strike at the D's. It's 2-1.
Giambi can't believe that. All hit look a little bit down, sinker. But when you're around the plate, you're going to get pitches like that.
Melvin Moore waits on deck. It's back full 3-2. Giambi walked back in the first and struck out his last time up, but this is the third time he's run a 3-ball count against Roy.
I got him on a sinker. Ball started on the plate and then went off the plate.
Towards center field. It'll slice away from Jason Worth, but he has plenty of time to cruise under it. Puts it away with one hand, and the side is retired. No runs, one hit, one man left in scoring position. Roy Halladay is dealing tonight, folks. He's through 6 with the Phillies up 5. ChevyDealer.com. Buy Southwest Airlines. Go to Southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. Buy Xfinity. It's TV, phone, and internet reinvented from Comcast. And buy Toyota. There are many reasons to buy a Toyota, and now's the perfect time to get yours during Toyota's National Clearance Event. Bottom of the 6th. Roy Halladay leads it off for the Phillies. Chacin took over for Aaron Cook in the 5th. And Halladay chops one to the right side. Melvin Moore has got it. 1 away. Aaron Cook allowed 5 runs and 9 hits over 4 2/3. Roy Halladay just grounded out. And the handful of folks over the first base dugout, they gave him a nice round of applause as he was going back to the dugout. A little appreciation for the job he's doing on the mound tonight.
Yeah, it probably feels like it's Christmas getting all these runs. 5 years so far.
Well, think about it, Sarge. You look at Roy's last handful of games. Now, he obviously lost his last one 11-6 at the Cubs, and he said that was more him than anybody else.
Yeah.
A no decision on the 10th. Phillies won it 1-0. He won it on the 5th. 3-1. So Phillies scored 3 runs. Lost a game on the 30th of June, 4-3. As Jimmy hits one foul past Davey Lopes. Well, he won 9-0 on the 25th of June, but you know he had a 3-game spurt of losses in June where the Phillies scored only 4 runs for him.
Yeah, and he's such a professional that never complains. Matter of fact, none of the pitchers, outwardly anyway, complain about runs, realizing they win and lose as a team. At any time you can give Halladay runs, it's just the opposition, they just feel like you have no chance, especially against a pitcher like him. And he's also doesn't like to come out of games once he gets a lead, see whether or not he'll be able to finish this one.
Tough pitch. Jimmy holds up, and it's 3-2. outside, ball 4. It's a 1-out walk for J-Roll. And Placido Polanco will be the hitter. Well, next Tuesday, the Arizona Diamondbacks will begin a 3-game series here at the ballpark. It finishes up on Thursday, the 29th. It's 1980s retro night. All 3 games are at 7:05 before the Phillies head off to D.C. to take on the Nationals. Get your tickets by going to Phillies.com. Polanco's 1 for 3. He's grounded out twice. He's also singled and scored a run. All right, the next piece to the equation. In a night where I think everybody can be a little greedy. Phillies scored 5 in 1. Now it's time to tack on.
Oh, absolutely. If he gets a jump, be able to run. You know, the way that things are now, they're not going to be feeling sorry for anybody. They need runs and more runs and get used to scoring them.
Breaking ball over for strike 1.
Maybe has his watch out. He'll be timing him just to make sure exactly how long it takes him to get to home plate.
That'll get back into the seats. Olivo gives it a look. It's 0-2.
If he gets a jump, this would be a good time to go. If he makes it, now you put pressure on him. If it's not a strike. Polanco, fastball hitter. He can hit a fastball. If he's going, the ball in the gap, he'd have a good time, or a good chance, I should say, to score.
Jimmy doesn't go. The pitch is hit the opposite way in the air. Gonzalez, plenty of space. And there are 2 outs.
A lot of times, too, 0-2, not going to be a good pitch. Maybe off speed, breaking ball, or something out of the zone.
Now with 2 outs, here's Ibanez, who's 2 for 3 with a 2-run double. He has scored a run.
Yeah, he's got the big hit for me so far, taking the pressure just about off of everyone and hitting that double. That's what you like those third hitters to do. That's why they're there in that third spot to clutch up for them.
Oh, we said it yesterday, Sarge. Tonight's 2-run double by Raul. It's only the 9th RBI for the 3-hole since Chase has gone on the DL.
Oh. Well, if you look at St. Louis, they're having some problems. You shut them out. They were shut out today.
Their problem's not with their 3-hole hitter.
That's for sure. You know, but I mean, the consistency is what I'm talking about. It's been just about almost all the teams, with the exception maybe of the Braves. Yankees have been pretty steady just about all year long. Cincinnati's been up and down, but playing pretty steady ball.
1-1 the count. Well, that's the hit Sarge's talking about. Relaxed everybody.
He drove that ball there. You saw he gets away, and Fowler out there jumping up. Almost caught the ball. He has good speed. Couldn't catch up to it. But that will have a tendency to relax you, especially when the score is 0-0 at the time.
1-1 the count to Ibanez with Jimmy on first base.
Looks like he's seeing the ball a lot better. Normally, that's a ball he probably would have swung at, being a little over-aggressive. I've noticed one thing, however, with Ibanez, he slowed his feet down some, and when you do that, you're going to make your hands a little bit quicker. You have fast feet, it's going to be just the opposite. Your hands are going to be slower. See Greg as he goes back and checking some charts.
As Greg Gross said today, a lot of these guys that he knows very well. Some were here when he was the hitting coach the last time. Placido Polanco, Jimmy Rollins, guys like that. Ryan Howard was coming through the system. Others he worked with in spring training or at times during the course of the year, but it's still going to take him a little bit of time to refamiliarize himself with some of these guys' tendencies. Jimmy took off and then stopped, and it's 3-1.
See whether or not he thought maybe he got a good jump. Not. You know, as a base stealer, if you go out, you don't feel you've got a good jump, you stop.
There he goes. And a foul ball, and it's 3-2. Now he's going to go no matter what.
Yep.
Giambi's going to play behind Jimmy now with the count 3-2 and 2 outs.
That's up to the manager, too, on whether or not they hold the bag or not. Tony La Russa, manager for St. Louis, he usually has the fielder on the bag.
Jimmy goes, and a call, strike 3. Boy, that looked like it was outside. Raul thought that. He was on his way up the first base line. And the sign is retired. No runs, no hits. One man left for the Phillies. We've completed 6. We go to the 7th. This pitch is a called strike 3 that finishes up the bottom of the 6th. Well, back here at Citizens Bank Park, Roy Halladay goes back to work at the top of the 7th. He's got a 5-0 lead. He's got a no balls and 1 strike count against Melvin Mora. And he has enjoyed himself a pretty good night on the mound, but he's also enjoying a 5-run lead, which is, boy, a breath of fresh air for Halladay. And he's had really good stuff tonight, Wills.
Well, right out of the chute, you know, the first inning gave up that infield hit, then a walk to Giambi. But, you know, that's typical of starting pitchers. We talked about that yesterday with Wainwright. You know, a lot of times they'll struggle in that first inning, and then they'll settle down and look out.
Right past Polanco, a base hit for Mora.
Now that will really annoy Halladay because he just hung a breaking ball with 2 strikes. You know, you just know a guy like him he's such a perfectionist, and to make that mistake with 2 strikes, as we look at the Verizon Wireless game summary, and they parred that hole at number 5. There it is. That was a fun inning to watch because they hit the balls really hard in that inning too. And of course, Gload is in the lineup tonight because of his numbers off Aaron Cook, and you know he came through against a guy that he has hit before in Victorino, 1 for 16 against him. So Charlie went with Glow, and it certainly paid off.
Well, it was actually funny talking to Shane today, asking him about not being in the lineup, and he said, he goes, I just haven't had any success against Aaron Cook. He said Glow should be in there. He said, I've done everything against him. I've popped up, I've grounded out, I've tried to bunt against him, and I just haven't been able to do much.
Well, that's what happened with the manager. Saw those numbers and said, well, I'm going to try this tonight and see what happens. And it's just one thing.
1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Smith. On the inside corner at 93, and it's 1-2. Seth Smith has grounded to Ryan Howard. He's also lined sharply to him. Change up. He rolls it right through the right side. Morris stumbled around second, so he's going to hold up there.
Or twisted an ankle, or he hurt himself a little bit. I don't know whether it's serious. Hopefully not for the Rockies, but he came up a little bit lame at second. He was really busting around second base and then started to slip a little bit. See, he's in some pain there. These guys can swing the bat. Now watch right here. See, right there he stumbled and he may have turned an ankle right there. And then he limped back to second.
Oh, again, nobody out. 2 runners on, and it's 1 ball and no strikes to Ian Stewart.
Now look at how he throws a really good changeup right there, and it's like, are you kidding me? Got ahead of another hitter.
That's one of the things that's fun to watch about him. I mean, his reactions, as much of a perfectionist as he is, because he knows he threw a good pitch there and just went right through the hole.
Yeah, that time. And of course, the 0-2 breaking ball that he threw was not a good pitch. That change up there, that's one of those ones we give the hitter credit.
Towards center field, not deep. Jason Worth makes the catch. Runners go back.
Made a real good pitch on him there with a fastball, heavy sinker.
Well, these lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will issue a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com.
Miguel Oliva has 5 triples. Of course, that ballpark.
I was going to say it's the ballpark.
I wonder how many of them are there. Why, you don't think catchers can run?
No, I'm not going to say that because there's a certain catcher in town that would be offended by that.
And he's watching.
Tim McCarver is going to be in town to do the game tomorrow.
Dick Stockton.
And I thought Tim was the fastest catcher I've ever seen.
He's very fast, and you never saw him.
I did so.
Did you?
Yeah. I was young.
I didn't think you were old enough to remember. He could run. Led the league in triples 1 year.
2.
Runs well for a catcher. Hates that expression.
0-2 the count to Olivo.
He's really had him chasing breaking balls, cutters, everything away tonight. He's right now. There's no reason even come inside to a guy like this to straighten him up to go away because he hasn't hit anything away. There they go again.
Slow chopper in front of the plate. Halliday's going to go to second for 1. And because Olivo's so quick up the first base line for a catcher, he can't get 2. But 2 outs. Here are the 7th.
I think the most surprised guy in the ballpark right then is Jimmy Rollins. He thought he was going to go to first, and the next thing you know, here comes a sinker, and that ball almost handcuffed him. Halliday, guys like that, they can't throw it straight. Here it goes, it's dribbled right back. Now Jimmy's going to cover. They're both there actually, and all of a sudden here it comes. See how it almost handcuffed him? And he looks around like, man, I think that was coming my way. Or he looks at Valdez as if to say, who's covering there, you or me? Because they were both there.
Well, now with 2 on, Brad Hopp is going to pinch hit for the Rockies. Hopp overall hitting .262, 5 homers. He fouls it off.
This guy's been hurt. He's been in a slump. And he's really hurt the Phillies over the years.
Well, he injured himself earlier this year, and you see his career numbers against the Phils. Injured himself earlier in the year and said, you know, he understood when the injury took place that it would be something that would hamper him the whole year. He crashed into a wall.
Yeah, we're in Anaheim. Well, you know, he banged up that rib cage area. It's a really tough injury to heal.
1-1 the count to Hop. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2, and he tied him up.
Well, he loves to throw that back foot cutter to left-handed hitters. And, you know, he's gotten hurt a couple times this year, but for the most part, he throws it so far in that they either swing over it or hit it foul, and he doesn't get hurt. Joey Votto hurt him one night with the one day with one.
Roy Halladay trying to get through 7. Got 2 runners out with 2 outs. Tried to check his swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, says the third base umpire, Jim Wolf. He went up with a high fastball, and Brad Hop couldn't hold his swing. Roy Halladay with 9 strikeouts tonight. He strands 2. Here in the 7th. It's time to stretch in Philadelphia with the Phillies on top by 5. Name the 2 rookies of the year in '77 who became Hall of Famers.
Well, you know, you mentioned Andre Dawson going in this weekend, so I wanted to say he's one of them.
You would be correct.
I don't know who the other one is. I need a hint.
He was a switch hitter. And he had a bird's eye view of some pretty good pitching.
Eddie Murray?
Yeah. That's right. Eddie Murray and Andre Dawson.
Wow.
Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. And thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans. And speaking of the Hall of Fame, Andre Dawson, Whitey Herzog, Doug Harvey, all going in this weekend. John Miller is going to go in on the broadcaster's wing. Bill Madden is going to go in the writer's wing of the Hall of Fame.
Great choices all around there. And
Doug Harvey's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Yeah, the Lord, they used to call him, because the way he carried himself down there. And you say, son, that pitch is a 1/4 off the black. 1/4 inch off the black. And the players are looking out like, what are you crazy? How do you know that?
Randy Flores is the new pitcher for the Rockies, facing Ryan Howard.
You call everybody son. Son? He's a good umpire, though.
39th game for Flores, a 2.82 ERA. Well, we talked about this before. You always knew, and at least I did as a baseball fan, you know, you went to the ballpark and you looked at the numbers that the umpires wore. That's how they used to designate who was umping that day in the lineup card, in the scorecard, or on the scoreboards around baseball. And you always knew who number 9 was.
Yeah.
Doug Harvey.
He really carried himself so well, and I think that's just a great choice.
Howard lays off, and it's 2-1.
Andre Dawson, and you can argue with that, and Whitey Herzog, good choices.
I think Andre Dawson's deserved to go in for a long time, not only because of his offensive ability, but he was one heck of a defensive player.
Until he hurt his knees, he could really move around.
Swing and a miss. It's 2-2 to Ryan, who tonight has singled and scored.
Frank Kopenbarger, our director of travel and equipment, is up there as a guest of Whitey Herzog this week, and he left this afternoon, drive up, and he and Whitey are very close from those years in the Cardinals, and should be a fun weekend.
3-2 the count. There was a really good story in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch yesterday about Whitey Herzog going into the hall. Jason Worth waits on deck, and about his combustible relationship with Gary Templeton early on in Templeton's career that led to the Wizard of Oz coming in and playing shortstop for the Cardinals. And as Ryan Howard picks up the walk, how that really turned the tide of that organization. I mean, kind of changed that organization because Ozzie Smith became such a big influence, not only in the clubhouses of Whitey Herzog's, but also in the city of St. Louis.
They still show that tape of him yanking him down the steps of the dugout in St. Louis. Templeton, that is.
Yep. Whitey Herzog, before he got to St. Louis, was a heck of a manager for the Kansas City Royals. Here's Jason Worth, and he takes one outside. It's 1-0.
And there's some other guys going to be in the pipeline pretty soon, like Bobby Cox. Depending on what Joe Torre does, I mean, those guys are going to be in the same place Whitey Herzog is this weekend someday.
Down the left field line. Oh, it is hooking foul and out of play.
It's a nice at bat Ryan Howard just had, because he's trying to get one slider off the plate, but then he took a close one, and then it came inside and walked. And, you know, he's seeing the ball so much better right now, and he's swinging well. And when you see him lay off those breaking balls away like that, you know he's seeing it out of the guy's hand. And, you know, for the last few weeks, he's gotten good swings.
Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jason Worth. Nice play by Emily, going over to the line and making sure she stopped that before it headed on out towards Seth Smith in left field. Lefty Wheels. You don't see too many lefty ball girls.
Too many lefties, yeah.
3-2.
You know, I don't want to go to, you know, we usually talk about that left-handed baseball players are a little goofy.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to say that about the ball player.
We don't really know him.
We don't know. So that, exactly. So we won't do that.
We'd have to see how she wears a cap.
Right.
There's ball 4. They do appeal to Darryl Cousins.
Maybe some people in her family are going, yeah, she is kind of flaky.
No cap for Emily.
She made a terrific play out there, though. But Emily, a lot of baseball players who throw left-handed are nuts.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Marlins have added 2 more. They lead the Braves 4-1. Now, that's important for a number of reasons. Because the Phillies are 7 games out of the National League East, and although 3 games out of the wild card behind the Reds and the Giants, they still have their sights set on the division. So if they can win here tonight, and the Marlins could take the first of that series against the Braves and maybe start something down there. It's good news for the Phillies going into tomorrow's ball game against Ubaldo Jimenez here at the ballpark.
Well, the Phillies have to start to obviously win some games to try and put a winning streak together. And they just have not been capable of that lately for a variety of reasons.
There's Ben Francisco pinch hitting for Ross Glode. The runners on first and second.
What a job by Ross Glode tonight.
Bullpen action for the Rockies. Manny Corpus. Chad Durbin, meanwhile, is up and throwing for the Phillies. 1-0 the count to Francisco. On the outside corner, it's 1-1.
Here's what Ross Glow did in the 5th inning. Talking about launching one into the Phillies bullpen, out off the bat. They were going to throw the towel up there to let everybody know where it was headed. And it was like, wait a minute, that's going to hit me. Who was that?
That was J.C. Rivero.
Oh.
Jesus Tiabo was out there.
Talked about Ross Glow the other night, and he's done his job. He just hasn't had a chance to do his job because they just haven't been that good. But, the guy is a good pinch hitter. And if you give him a chance to play once in a while, get some hits.
That one's a towering shot into left center field. Playable for Dexter Fowler. And Ryan Howard went back to the bag a little late to try to tag and go to third. So 1 out.
A little base running things. Even though it's 5-0 in this ballpark, he just won. I made a mistake. There's nobody out. First thing you have to be thinking about is read the outfielder. How's he catching it? And get back there and tag it. He's looking at Sam Perlazzo to tell him what to do, and he really didn't. You don't do that. You have to know that yourself.
And Ryan just tapped his chest a moment ago, as Will said. He pointed out that it was his bad. And so he's at second. Jason's at first. Randy Flores will give the baseball to Jim Tracy. We'll have a new pitcher for the Rockies. It should be right-hander Manny Corpus. He's next up with the Phillies leading at 5-0. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. It wraps up on Sunday the 22nd. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com because they are moving fast. Carlos Ruiz is the batter with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. 2 runners on. Manny Corpus is the new pitcher for the Rockies. And Corpus delivers a fastball for a strike. There's a big difference right there from what we normally see from Corpus, who's in his 45th game. 10 saves. He's blown 4, an earned run average of 4.38. He's back in more of a setup role now with Houston Street back as the closer for the Rockies.
These guys won the World Series a few years ago. Corpus did a great job in the month of September and in the playoffs.
But we said that, his velocity is a little different than what we're normally used to. They try to get him to pull back a little bit because when he hypes it up to mid-90s, there's a lot of times he doesn't know where it's going.
Well, the thing that made him so successful was his sinker was so heavy. And it was just a tremendous natural movement sinker. And I guess it got to the point maybe where it got a little bit smarter and hitters didn't swing at it. And he would get behind in the count, bring it up, and he'd get hurt.
Well, the Phillies certainly have been smart against him during his career. They have hit him around. He has a 9.35 ERA against the Phillies. He's only thrown 8 2/3, but he's allowed 9 earned runs.
I bet his postseason numbers are good against the Phillies, though, because those aren't in there. That 1 year he had in the postseason. But you're right, during the season they've hit him around.
1-2 the count to Ruiz. Opposite way. That's going to float toward right field and drop in for a base hit. Howard will hold up to third. And the Phillies have bases loaded. with 1 out. And here comes Wilson Valdez. Now, if this was a 2-0 game, maybe a 3-0 game, Charlie might pinch hit here. Would you think, Wheels? But if it's 5-0, he probably wants the defense for Valdez.
Exactly. That's why you don't do it, because you would weaken your defense by pinch hitting when you're up 5-0, and you still have the lead, so you won't catch the ball.
And I say that more because Valdez has struggled so much lately. He's got the bases loaded here. He came up with the bases loaded earlier in the game and grounded it to a fielder's choice, and he takes a fastball for a strike.
Corpus against the Phillies in that division series in 07 was in 3 games, 3 1/3 innings, 2 hits, 3 strikeouts, didn't give up anything. So he pitched well against them in that series, and of course the Phillies got swept.
Pop up, short left center field. Howard's going to tag. Here comes Seth Smith. He makes the catch, and Ryan tagged initially and then walked down the line a few steps. We said all 3 of these outfielders have above average arms, and that ball just wasn't hit deep enough.
Yeah, and you also go back to the base running mistake in this inning. Ryan Howard's been playing great baseball, but he didn't tag and go to third the way he should have, and he would have scored on that little blooper. And now he's down there at 2 outs and the pitcher out. And they're talking about that right now. Sam Perlazzo and Ryan Howard. What are you going to do? You just made a mistake.
Well, Roy Halladay is going to stay in the ball game, leading at 5-0. He's over 100 pitches tonight. Phillies have had Chad Durbin loosening up. Now they have J.C. Romero. And a little nubber that hits Halladay in the box. No sinker there. That was a slider. And Corpus is ahead 0-2. One and two with the bases loaded. On the outside corner, called strike 3. So the Phillies strap the bases loaded here in the 7th. We have completed 7 here in Philadelphia. Manny Corpus gets the final couple of outs to finish the Phils off and take us to the 8th. low office product prices. And by the Quality Plus Ford dealers. 7 of the books here in Philadelphia. Sold out crowd, the 85th consecutive sellout. And Shane Victorino comes into the ball game. And he'll play center field. Jason Worth moves from center field over to right field. 85 consecutive sellouts to sell out tomorrow here at the ballpark. And there's still some limited seats available for Sunday and Monday, both day games here at the park. Sunday is that Chase Utley action figurine. That's a great giveaway. That young kid right there, he'd get one of those action figurines if he came to the ballpark on Sunday. Dexter Fowler will lead it off, and Roy Halladay begins the 8th with 104 pitches. There's 105, and it's 0-1. 0-2 the count. Roy Halladay, for his career, has 54 complete games. Now, I'm not saying he's going to complete this one because he's had 106 pitches, but that tells you the kind of horse he is. And he's also had 7 or more innings in 17 of his 21 starts this year. He just likes to finish what he starts.
Yeah, you kind of think this will be his last inning. Over 100 pitches right now with a 5-run lead. And you hope it's a 5-run lead when he leaves.
Fowler's 0 for 3. He has struck out. He's flied to right. He's also flied to center. There's J.C. Romero in the pen. Change up, right side, diving play. Ryan Howard flips to Halladay, covered. He does all he can with his 6'6" frame to pull that baby in.
Wow, that was some play. That guy can fly coming out of the batter's box. Ryan Howard played a lot of basketball, and that looked like a basketball flip. First of all, this is a great athletic play. The way he dives for this, full extension. Now watch his flip. And he gives it up nice and high, right where the pitcher wants it, so he can see it, not have to worry about trying to find the bag. And Halladay does his job late in the game on a hot night, and he busts it over there, and they get an out. Good play on both ends.
And they just gave Halladay a few extra moments. Ruiz did after that play, and as Johnny Herrera takes one on the inside corner for a strike. Just because, you know, at this point in the game, when you throw out 111 pitches, that's like running a mile.
For most people. Not that guy.
Yeah, he's pretty much a horse.
He's different. You come out here the day after he pitches, and he's out there in the outfield chasing those. What are they throwing around?
That would be a frisbee.
Frisbees they're throwing around, and he's soaking wet.
1-2 to Herrera, who is 1 for 3.
And he chases frisbees. He doesn't throw them.
Breaking ball popped up left side. Placido Polanco, the third baseman. He's under it on the infield grass. 2 outs here in the 8th. A reminder that this Sunday, when the Phillies take on the Rockies, there are limited seats still available for that ball game. It's a great giveaway, and it's also a great opportunity for you to give something away. That's right, Sunday, July 25th. It is Christmas in July. Phillies ball girls will be collecting new unwrapped toys to benefit several local organizations. Now, the collection takes place pregame at all entrance gates. Check out Phillies.com or call 215-463-1000 for game tickets. 2 outs for Gonzalez. And he takes a fastball on the outside corner. Gonzalez 1 for 3. An infield single his first time up. Towering pop-up. Right center field. It'll stay in the yard by a good distance. Worth gives way to Victorino, and the side is retired. 1-2-3 for Roy Halladay. He's through 8 innings tonight. He may be done, and if he is, he's getting a beautiful reaction here at the ballpark with a 5-0 lead. release. Plus, you can meet Eagles rookie tight end Clay Harbor in the latest installment of New to the Nest. And D. Lydom talks to new Sixers coach Doug Collins about Evan Turner and more tonight at 10 on Sports Night, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Jimmy Rollins leads it off here in the bottom of the 8th against Manny Corpus. Jimmy's 1 for 3 with a run scored. He's also walked tonight. 2-0 the count. Phillies overall 5 runs on 10 hits. Now they've only scored runs in 1 inning. That was the bottom of the 5th. They've hit the ball hard tonight. First against Aaron Cook.
Jimmy Rollins really got that big inning starter with that screamer. Aaron Cook's a big guy, and he ducked down, got out of the way of that. That thing was head high. At least it looked like it could have been anyway. And then after that, they looked like they put a hit and run on. With Polanco just chased that thing way out of the strike zone, blooped it in, and then they got off on a big inning. And Roy Halladay is finished for the night after 8 strong innings. They don't like to go tell him that.
That's because he wants to finish the game off.
Right. Rich Stubbe went up, was the first guy to go tell him he was finished. That was quick. And then Chuck, see ya, thanks, bye.
Well, nobody's loosening up just yet in the Phillies bullpen. J.C. Romero and Chad Durbin both have been loosening up. So it probably won't take them too long to get themselves lathered again.
No.
Two and 2 the count. Opposite way, a foul ball. There are so many keys to this club and trying to turn this around. And the guy you're looking at the plate right now, he's one of the biggest keys. Just to be in that leadoff spot and to get on and get things rolling. We've talked often over the last few days. Chase Utley is a huge piece to the puzzle that the Phillies are missing. But this is really probably the healthiest they've been this year. Even with Chase out of the lineup. Jimmy rips it down the right field line. That's going to be in for extra bases. Hustling around first, heading to second. He may even think about 3. Nope, he's going to put the brakes on. Rightfully so. Gonzalez really got to that ball quickly. Second hit for Jimmy. 3rd time he's been on board.
Hit some balls hard again. So he said at the beginning of the game that, you could see that a little bit the other day in St. Louis, that he started to hit the ball hard. And, that's the first step in getting back and trying to get consistent. When you start, that was like a little cutter or slider, and you see it spinning right towards him, and he rips it into the corner. Start to hit balls hard. Not much you can do about it is just hope you start to get your hits. But when you're not hitting it hard, you're not going to get many hits.
Well, he's got 2 hits tonight, hit both of them hard. And now he's in scoring position. Maybe a little insurance for the Phillies. With Placido Polanco up at the plate. He's 1 for 4. Polanco came into the game 2nd in the league in hitting. His average at .318. To the count to Polanco.
Well, I thought that hit and run they put on the 5th inning was just such a key to that inning. You could see Polanco go chase that pitch, was way out of the strike zone. Jimmy kept looking in, and they loops that ball in the outfield. They get a 1st and 3rd, and all of a sudden they're off. Ibanez doubles. They get a home run later in the inning. It was just nice to see, because Polanco is one of those guys you can do those kind of things with. People want play hit and run more, do things like that. Well, when you get a lineup with a lot of guys that swing and miss, you can't do that. And Polanco is one of those guys who can put the ball in play. And here it is, right here. You see Jimmy take a look in, take another look in, make sure he covers the plate there. Not covers the plate, but goes after the pitch to protect the runner. And he winds up getting the hit out of it with a little blooper out there. That was just good baseball.
He's down on strikes for the first out here in the home 8th, and here's Raul Ibanez. Ibanez 2 for 4 tonight. Couple RBIs and a run scored. Get that opposite field double. They got the ball rolling in the 5th inning. Pickoff play is on. Jimmy didn't have that big of a lead, so it was easy for him to get back before Herrera got to the bag.
That's why he hurt his ankle.
Oh yeah, New York
that day. Got back a little bit late, jammed his ankle. So you see a play like that, you won't be careful.
Pretty good pitch right there by Corpus. And it's 0-2 on the Toyota Major League scoreboard. Martin Prado and Brian McCann have homered, and the Braves have pulled even with the Marlins. It's 4-4 in the bottom of the 7th. I think somebody's going to take a big dip tomorrow.
They show up.
She looks like she's ready to show up. I mean, I would think tomorrow, right?
I don't know, but she got a pretty good light bulb in that hand there.
Two and two, the count to Ibanez. All right, I may be off. Maybe it's not tomorrow. Maybe this is just the bachelorette party and the wedding somewhere down the road.
You handle that one, Tommy.
She's getting married at some point.
It would appear that way, yes.
Congratulations on behalf of Wheels and myself and everybody else up here in the booth.
And have a great night at Citizens Bank Park, and why not?
Ibanez stays alive and fouls it back to the screen. And to the lucky gentleman, wherever he is tonight, congratulations.
She may not know and may not want to know.
Again a base hit. That's going to score Jimmy from second. A little insurance run for the Phillies. The third RBI for Ibanez. It's 6-0 Phils.
Ibanez, so frustrating to him and to everybody. He hasn't been able to do that this year. Last year he had so many hits to the left of second base and did damage. Tonight, where's he had 2 big hits to the left of second base? Right there, a sinker away, and instead of trying to pull it and turn it over, he goes with it, hits a BB right over shortstop's head in center field. Hit that double in the alley deep to left center field to knock in some runs on pitch away. So, that's when he was so effective last year, is driving the ball to the opposite field.
So Jimmy scores his second run of the night. The batter is Ryan Howard, with Ibanez over at first. They have 3 infielders on the right side of the diamond, and the outfielders shaded the other way for Ryan. And a strike on the inside corner. And speaking of scoring, how about Gabby Sanchez? Another home run, his 11th of the year. So the Marlins retake the lead 5-4 over the Braves.
A lot of home runs are hitting down there in that big ballpark.
Jimmy Rollins has scored 2 runs tonight as Ryan takes a fastball on the inside corner. Phillies this year are 11-2 when Jimmy scores a run. Now, there are a couple things that are surprising. Not the fact that they have that good of a record when he scores a run, but the fact that as Ryan takes one for strike 3, 2 outs, the fact that it's only been 13 games that he has scored a run. Now, the injuries have a lot to do with it, but isn't that amazing?
Well, he came into the game hitting 205 left-handed.
Right.
So you figure how much he's been on base.
Well, that's part of the storyline for this season. His injury and the struggles of the offense.
You lose Jimmy Rollins and you lose Chase Utley for as many games as they're going to lose them this year. That's a problem. It's hard to make some of that stuff up, but it certainly has shown.
Jason Worth fouls that ball off of Marvin Hudson, the home plate umpire. It's 0-1. Well, the Phillies this year under Charlie have only had their projected lineup 8 times this year. You see this foul ball.
He'll grow up and be a catcher
or an umpire.
Or an umpire. And
masked and led.
They take a beating back there.
Opposite way, right off the hands. Melvin Mora throws out Jason Worth, and the side is retired. The Phillies, though, tack on another run. 1 run on 2 hits, 1 man left. J.C. Rivera looks like he's the next one up to face Jason Giambi as we go to the 9th. For Roy Halladay, 8 innings on 5 hits for Roy. He didn't allow a run. And now JC with his 33rd game. He's 1-0, a 3.10 ERA. And he's on to face Jason Giambi, who started off. And Giambi takes one inside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Roy Halladay walked 1 tonight. And he has walked 1 or less in 16 starts this year.
They walked one batter in the first inning. They had 2 on twice tonight. Once with 2 outs, once with nobody out. And I think that that 1 inning. Oh, we just said it. I think that 1 inning when he threw the 0-2 breaking ball for a hit, and then the guy hooked the changeup in the hole. 2 outs and nobody on. It looked like he just got more determined that nothing was going to happen there.
Well, if you want to see Roy Halladay's game again, this game will encore tonight at 10:30 on the Comcast Network, and again at 1:30 a.m. right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Phillies coverage on Comcast Sportsnet continues Mondays. The Bills close out the series of the Rockies with a day game. All the action starts Monday at 1 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Melvin Morris skies one down the right field line. Jason Worth is over. Fair territory. Snow cones it. But he made the catch.
I think the center fielder tonight. So he forgot about that, the way they drift back. He almost overran it.
Take a look at the tools.
Well, they use a long gloves, those outfielders, so there's a lot of webbing to catch them in. Look how long that glove is. Pitchers and outfielders can use those big gloves.
Seth Smith is 1 for 3. He's grounded out. He's lined out, and he has singled.
There it is right there. See, it started to come back a little bit and drift, and that's why you use 2 hands.
On the hands, a looper behind second. Jimmy Rollins is out there. 2 outs. Somewhere in this ballpark, Jamie Moyer is yelling 2 hands to everybody.
Yep, he does. You can always hear Jamie up. 2 hands, 2 hands. He's getting some work in out there.
Chad Durbin, Vance Worley, who was called up a couple days ago, has not gotten into a game yet.
The Phillies ought to make a move to put Kyle Kendrick back on tomorrow. And Worley around in case they got into trouble this week and needed a long man, need some innings out of somebody after Carpenter did that for him one night.
Here's Stewart. 2 outs.
At some point this weekend they're going to have to make a move, right?
Yeah,
maybe not tomorrow because
Kyle will take Jamie Moyer's spot. Yeah.
Right, and then for Sunday, Jay Happ got to make a move.
I was very optimistic about the way Jay Happ has thrown the ball the last couple of times. Right side, this should do it. Wilson Valdez waits for it, throws to first, and the Phillies with a shutout of the Colorado Rockies. Back-to-back shutouts for the Phils. They win it tonight by a final score of 6-0. Roy Halladay is an 11-game winner, and Raul Ibanez, well, he emerged tonight as our offensive star. 3 RBIs. And it was his 2-run double that got things rolling in a 5-run 5th inning for Charlie Manuel. On a day in which Charlie had to change his hitting coach, the Phils offense reached double digits in hits, and they win it by a final score of 6-0. Our W.B. Mason deliveries of the game, 2 big blows. One off the bat of Raul Ibanez, the other from Ross Glow.
Talking about Rule hitting the ball so hard the other way tonight. Watch what he does there. Hits that thing into the gap. Fowler almost made a great play on it, but a 2-run double. And that was big in that inning where they scored the 5, and then Ross Glow finished it off with a long home run to center field into the Phillies bullpen. A 5-run inning. They add another run later and win convincingly 6-0 tonight. Give Roy Halladay some runs. The odds are you will win the game. Or W.B. Mason delivery of the game.
Halladay, 8 innings, 5 hits. He walked 1, struck out 9, did not allow a run. He improves his record to 11-8. And he was brilliant tonight. The Phils needed it not only from him, but they also needed it from their offense, and they got it. And speaking of the offense, Sarge is down on the field waiting to chat with Raul Ibanez. Sarge, take it away.
Raul, nice hitting tonight. Kept that bat in the zone tonight. Good hitting on the ball away today. What'd you see, or what'd you do different today?
Thank you. You know, I've been working on some stuff and just going up there and trusting it. So it worked out today, and hopefully it'll give me something to carry over and start building on for the rest of the year.
Well, that can build on it. When you start hitting ball, I think hitting is mostly confidence anyway once you've been in the league a while.
Yeah, no question. You know, that's the one thing that has to remain, or try to remain, unwavering. And, you keep fighting, you keep battling, and believe in yourself and the ability that God's given you, and you go forward and try to make things happen.
You guys haven't been scoring a lot of runs for Roy Halladay. Had to make him feel good today. What a competitor he is.
Yeah, he's been amazing. I mean, he's out there every time. He's standing on the mound no matter what. And playing against him, Sarge, was the same thing. No matter what happens, he's always standing out there in the 7th and 8th inning. He's a gamer.
Thanks for coming on.
Nice
going. We'll see you again.
Thanks.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Sarge, thank you very much. Raul Ibanez with 3 RBIs tonight. The Phillies offense reached double digits in hits. They win it by a final score of 6-0. Take game 1 of this 4-game series.